Not all places work the same way. Where do startups actually find fractional CMOs? And more importantly, what kind of deal are you getting and what are you depending on when you find the first one? Here's what almost nobody explains. Not all the places that connect companies with fractional CMOs work the same way. There are 3 completely different commercial models hiding behind the same simple promise. We'll find you a fractional CMO. And the difference between them can mean the founder pays a lot more, or the executive earns half as much for the exact same work. So I'm going to walk you through where fractional CMOs are really found, from the warmest channels all the way down to 3 commercial models at the platform layers. Founders, this tells you exactly what you're paying for. Fractional CMOs, this tells you which models will protect your income and which ones will quietly take maybe half. Let's get into it. One frame first. Fractional CMO hires almost never start with someone Googling a vendor list. They start with a trusted question. We need a marketing leader, so who do you know? So the channels stack into a hierarchy of trust. Warm referrals from other investors, other founders, other fractionals close to the founder. They sit at the top, and that's where the best fits happen. Peer communities and founder networks are a close cousin, the warm room where those recommendations get made. Below that is the formal platform layer. Businesses whose entire job is connecting companies with fractional executives. And it's right there that the commercial structure starts to get interesting because most people don't realize there are 3 very different models in play. And that's the part that nobody teaches. And it decides what the founder pays and what the executive keeps. Model 1. Client direct matching platforms. This is the cleanest, most transparent model in the market. The platform vets and lists fractional executives, makes the introduction, and then critically, the founder works directly with the executive. They negotiate the scope directly, they sign the contract directly, and they pay the executive directly. The platform is not the contracting party. For example, Hire a Fractional is a clear example of this model. Hire a Fractional charges the executive a subscription and a small commission, and the businesses pay nothing to the platform. The founder pays the executive's rate. The executive keeps their full fee minus their own platform cost. There's no spread sitting in the middle, quietly taking money from both sides. For founders, what that means is pricing transparency. You see exactly what the executive gets. You're not paying a markup or you're not subsidizing somebody's payroll or back office. For fractional CMOs, this is the model that respects your independence. You run your own business, you set your own rates, and you own the client relationship. Model 2, client markup marketplaces. These look similar on the surface. The platform connects companies with fractional executives who are still independent contractors, but the structure is different. Instead of charging the executive, the platform adds a markup, usually around 10% to every invoice the company pays. So the executive's rate is $10,000 a month, the company pays $11,000, and the platform takes the difference. There's also usually a conversion fee, often around 15% of annual compensation, if the company later wants to hire that fractional full-time. For founders, this is still more transparent than an agency because you can see the markup on your invoice. The trade-off is that it adds up over time, and the conversion fee stings if you want the executive full-time. For fractional CMOs, the marketplace doesn't usually cut your rate, but it often requires all billing to run through the platform with strict anti-circumvention rules so you don't own the billing relationship yourself. Model 3, agency or W-2 firm models. This is where the structure changes fundamentally, and it's the one where most companies don't realize they're using. A traditional fractional firm doesn't really connect you with an independent executive. They employ those executives as W-2 staff and place them into client companies. But underneath, the firm still sits between you and the executive permanently, capturing what's often estimated at around half of what the company pays to fund its bench, its back office, and the executive's benefits and payroll. So the company pays a senior executive rate, but only about half actually reaches the person doing the work. For founders, the trade-off is real. Bench depth, replacement capacity if the fit's wrong, a managed back office. And those have genuine value, but you're paying for it, and the cost is hidden inside an invoice that just says fractional CMO services. For fractional CMOs, this model quietly costs you the most. Steady deal flow and back office relief, but you're giving up your rates, your client ownership, and often the right to talk to the client outside of that firm's process. Most senior fractionals, once they see the structure, choose not to be on that side of the table. So let's look at all of these side by side. Model 1, direct client matching. The founder pays the executive directly. The platform charges the executive a small fee. Transparency is high. The executive keeps the full fee. Model 2, markup marketplaces. The platform adds about 10% to invoices plus a conversion fee on a direct hire. Transparency is medium. The executive keeps most of their fee. Model 3, the agency or W-2 firms. The firm employs the executive and bundles everything into one invoice. Transparency is low. The executive typically receives about half of what the founder pays. Notice the pattern. The further you move from a direct relationship between founder and executive, the more money sits in between and the less either side controls the deal. That one insight is the whole point of these three models. So if you're a founder, here's the playbook. Start with warm referrals, always. The fit is better and the trust is already there. When you reach the platform layer, the single most useful question you can ask is, are your fractionals independent operators or your employees? And what percentage of my fee actually goes to them? That one question instantly tells you which model you're talking to. A client direct platform says the executives are independent and you pay them directly. A markup marketplace tells you their flat percentage. An agency or W-2 firm tells you the executives are there. And probably get a little cagey about that breakdown. But know which one you're buying before you sign, because the model decides how much of your money that busy executive leadership gets versus going to infrastructure. And if you're a fractional CMO, the three models are not equally good for your business. Client direct platforms protect your independence, your rates, and your client relationships, and give you a small fee and keep nearly everything else. Markup marketplaces are a reasonable middle ground. Your rate isn't compressed, but you give up billing control. Agency and W-2 placements give you steady deal flow, but cost you roughly half your fee and most of your client ownership. The wrong trade for many senior fractionals once they've seen the numbers. So the principle, prioritize the channels and platforms that let you stay independent and let money flow directly between you and your client with the smallest, most transparent fee in the middle. Bringing it all together, startups find fractional CMOs through warm referrals, then peer communities, then the platform layer. And at that platform layer, there are three different levels of models. Client direct matching, where the founder pays the executive directly, markup marketplaces, where the platform adds around 10%, and agency or W-2 firms, where the firm sits right in the middle and typically captures about half. The further the model sits from a direct founder to executive relationship, the more money sits between them. Understand the three and the whole market gets a lot less confusing. Now here's the honest truth underneath all of this. Knowing which channels to be in isn't the same as having a reliable, predictable flow of clients coming through them. Fractional CMOs who win aren't the ones who can name the models. They're the ones who have built a system that consistently fills their pipeline, no matter which channel a client finds them through. I break down that system in the next video, the system behind the predictable pipeline for fractional executives. Go watch that one next, because that's where understanding the market can turn into your next client.